You're listening to the Moms Working Overtime podcast, the community of women you've been searching to find for so long. We bring together our mamas in waiting, brand new moms, stay-at-home moms, working moms, and the moms who maybe just have a little bit more experience than the rest of us. We're all here for community, support, and finding ways to show up better for our families each and every day. I'm so grateful that you're here, and I hope you love what you find on today's episode. Welcome back to the Moms Working Overtime podcast. I'm so happy to have you here for your Monday night pep talk. And mamas, this is a huge episode. So, as of today, this is the first episode that I am actually recording not only in my podcasting platform, but also some video form content. So, if you are watching on YouTube or Facebook, thank you for being here. I'm excited to extend the podcast into video format for those of you that just enjoy consuming content that way. It's a huge step for me, and I've been fighting off for a really long time, to be honest. You're going to see that sometimes I record the podcast and my hair is on top of my head. We have no makeup on. Sometimes there is a baby in my lap, but we are just going to make it work. We're going to try and have some fun with this. And you know, more than anything in motherhood, the reason I started Moms Working Overtime, the reason I do what I do is because we need more real moms in this space. We need more moms that are willing to show up and show that their kitchen is messy, their kids throw tantrums, things aren't always perfect, not everyone's always dressed to a T. And that's been me from the start. So I guess this just fits perfectly with the brand, but I will be offering the podcast not only on all major podcasting platforms like we have been, but also on YouTube and in video format on Facebook. And so we're really just going to embrace the challenge here. You know, since the beginning, I tell you that I'm self-taught using YouTube and a Google search engine. So we're just going to keep that going. And I just want to say, mama, with all this being said and taking on new challenges and pushing myself to the next level, if you are in the trenches right now of something in motherhood, just something that is challenging you, that you're not really sure how you're going to keep going, I'm with you. We are hardly sleeping right now. I have 2 children that don't sleep. So if your children don't sleep, do not judge yourself if you're a good mom based off of that. I have 2 children that don't sleep. Last night, I will be gracious and say I got an hour and a half of sleep. I don't even know if I got a solid hour. And of course, I feel exhausted. You all know I talk about this all the time. This exhaustion is a privilege. Okay. But I know there are seasons of motherhood, and I'm in a season of motherhood right now where you just can't really see the light at the end of the tunnel yet. But I can tell you, and I'm not to the end of the road yet. I'm not at that moment where I feel like, hey, things are going to be okay. But I can tell you, this too shall pass. And I know that saying sucks whenever you're in the trenches of something, but this too shall pass. It's not going to last forever. And as crazy as it sounds, I know this, you know this deep in your heart. We're actually going to miss these days. There's going to come a time where we miss these really hard days, these precious moments where we're up all hours of the night. They throw tantrums. They want to be glued to us. All these things that probably drive us crazy. We're going to miss them. And so there's something I do. It's a perspective and a mindset strategy that I use to pull myself out of the exhaustion, pull myself out of that dark hole that can come with these, being in the trenches moments of motherhood. In moments like last night where Lena was up constantly, where I couldn't sleep, I teach myself, I condition myself that when I walk into her room, instead of having this mindset of like, oh my gosh, I'm up again. I'm so tired. I just want my sleep. Will you just go to sleep, child? Instead of letting myself stay in that mindset, because it's so easy to go there. I walk in, I pick her up, and I say, hey, baby, it's so good to see you. I love that you miss your mommy so much when we're apart. I miss you too. And in that moment, do I feel like being that calm and that appreciative of being pulled out of bed, that grateful for this hard season? No, but I say it anyways. And I think by saying that over and over again, I actually believe it. It's so good to see you, baby. I'm glad you miss me. I actually start to believe it, and I can sit in the rocking chair at night and I can smile instead of being frustrated or discouraged or just completely drained with nothing left. And I'm those things in the back of my mind. But what I focus on is the good. And I hope that that helps you too, no matter what it is that you're going through. I know we did an episode about whenever our children show us the ugly, how it's a privilege to witness that ugly side of them where they unleash their emotions, maybe some anger, some pent up feelings. If we can find appreciation to be the person that they show that to, if we can find appreciation in being the safe place that they can expose those ugly parts of them, it just changes the perspective of the entire experience. But Mama, if you are struggling right now, if you're in the trenches of something, this really isn't what I came here to talk about, but I just want to let you know today that you're not alone. What I really came to talk about in today's episode, which is called Be the Change, is inspired by my morning routine with my son. And I was thinking about this because every morning when our son leaves for school for daycare, my husband's been taking him in the morning so Lena and I can kind of get in a groove. But I always say to him before he leaves the house, first of all, we give a kiss and he leans in for the cutest little hug that he started giving. But I always say, hey, buddy, listen to your teachers, be nice to your friends, and be a kind boy. So I say all the time. I also do affirmations with him. I say, you're so handsome, you're so smart, you're so kind. But I always say that before he leaves the house. Listen to your teachers, be nice to your friends, be a kind boy. And I think a lot of us moms say things like that, right? Use your manners, treat others how you want to be treated. We have all these mantras. Eat healthy foods because then you can grow big and strong. Drink your water, get out. You need plenty of exercise. We're really, really good at talking the talk. But do we walk the walk? And there's a saying that I love. It actually used to be painted on the wall of my high school, right above the water fountain. I wonder if it's even still there. I don't know. I haven't been in that building in a very long time. But there's a saying that I love, and it's be the change you want to see in the world. But I think that this saying is so overarching, it's so big that it almost gives us this bystander effect. And when we think about a saying like that, be the change you want to see in the world, we think to ourselves, nah, someone else can change the world. I don't have it in me. It's not me that is supposed to actually change the world. And it gives us that bystander effect of like, someone else will take care of that. And we get so overstimulated, I think, by all of the different things that need to change in the world, all the happenings of the world, all the sadness in the world, because we're so in the loop on everything that we really can't even fathom what it would take to be a person that makes a significant change. So, what I recommend to you, Mama, and to myself and any other average mom, anyone that's listening to this podcast, I recommend, hey, shut it out. Shut out the world part of that saying. Stop obsessing over social media and comparing yourself to other moms, and just expecting things to be so perfect, so easy. I mean, this starts from the moment that we get pregnant with our first child. Do you realize this? The second you get pregnant with your first child, it's suddenly these thoughts of, oh my God, what should I buy? What did so and so buy? Who should I follow on social media? What books should I read? What courses should I take? How did so and so do this with her kids? And I know this because I have mamas that message me on social media, and when they get pregnant with their first child, these are the questions they ask. Elena, what courses should I pay for? What books should I read? All these things, they come from every new mama. And if you asked me that question, I love you. You are not alone. And I love what is behind that and why you're asking those questions. But that is because we as moms are conditioned, we as women are conditioned from the very start to seek validation from others, to need their approval before we take action. And so we start this parenthood journey by discrediting and disregarding our own intuition, and we just take a passenger seat in motherhood from the very start. What I need you to know is that what you do is what matters. What you feel is right, that's what matters. How you actually live your life, that's what matters. The books are great. The courses are great. There's great accounts on social media. There's great opinions in your family members, your friends, your coworkers, anyone that you come across who is a mom. However, how you actually just live your life is what's going to matter most in this motherhood journey, because your kids don't know that Supermom Sally that you follow on social media folds her kids' clothes a certain way, or feeds this perfectly assembled charcuterie board to her kids every day after school, or has this sparkling clean kitchen, which, by the way, the kitchen is only sparkling clean on this side of the camera, on your side of the camera. On the other side, it's not that way. And I absolutely promise you that. But your kids don't know that. Our kids don't know that. What they know and how they act is completely determined based on what they see from us. You all hear me talk about this all the time. It's something that is a driving force in how I parent and how I live my life. So I will probably bring it up as frequently as I've been bringing it up since I started the MWO podcast. There's a saying that Ed Milet shares. It's something he talks about often. That is, who our children become is caught. Who our children become is caught, not taught. You can say all of these things until you're blue in the face. Have good manners. Be nice to your friends. Listen to your teachers. Hey, reading books is important. You should always be learning. You should care about your schoolwork. But if they don't see that from us, we're screwed. We are a sinking ship because someday, if we don't practice what we preach, someday they're going to figure us out. And so when I hear this saying, as much as I love it and as much as there's good meaning behind it, when I hear be the change you want to see in the world, I'm like, nah. I say be the change you want to see in your home. If we want our children to be something or do something or value something, we have to go first. If we want them to manage their stress well, we got to manage our stress well. If we want our children to turn to God when they're struggling, they better see us do that. If we want our children to cook and sit down for meals with their future family because it's important to them, then we have to make it important to us. If we want our children to be healthy and take care of their bodies and live long, happy, healthy lives, then we got to get moving, mama. We have to start letting our children witness the type of person that we want them to be. Because I think sometimes we get so stressed as moms, so caught up in the comparison game when it comes to our children's behaviors, their sleep, their emotions, their schoolwork, their learning abilities. Take some pressure off of yourself, because what I want to reassure you of is that you don't have to mold this picture perfect puppet of a child. That's not your job. All you need to do is make sure that they are fed, clothed, and loved. And you have to let them witness over and over, day in and day out, what it means to be a good human that takes care of those around them and lives a life that leaves a positive impact on our world. Just let them see that and you'll win. Mama, you're not supposed to be perfect. You weren't put in this role to be picture perfect, and you won't have these perfect molded children either. But there's one thing that you're already doing that I just need you to keep doing. And I'll remind you every single time that you come to an MWO podcast, especially when you come listen to your Monday pep talks. And that is that, Mama, you're doing a really amazing job. We'll talk soon. If you loved this episode of Moms Working Overtime, do me a favor. Share it on social media or send it to another mom to remind her that you love her and that she's doing such an amazing job. There's nothing more incredible that we can do in this community than remind other mamas of their strength. I'm so glad you were here today, and just know that I appreciate you an overtime amount.